What's up everybody, it's Sean here and I am back today to give you guys a review of the New Balance 990 V6 in this avocado and natural mint colorway. This is a brand new colorway of the New Balance 990 V6 that's part of the brand's Spring and Summer 2025 line. As usual, this pair is made in the USA and they retail for $200 US or $285 here in Canada. And the product code for this shoe is U990AB6. So the 990 V6 continues to be one of the brand's most popular silhouettes, even though it might have been overtaken in hype by other models like the 991 V2 and the 992. But for those people looking for a very comfortable and high quality model, I think you really can't go wrong with the 990 V6. So comparing this pair to all the other colorways and shoes releasing in the spring and summer collection, this pair for sure was one of my standouts. So as we take a look at the details of this shoe, you'll see how the base layer of the sneaker, this is covered in a dark green open style mesh. Right above this, we have this reflective layer with New Balance branding, and we have another reflective layer on the medial edge in light green. Overlaid on both sides of the toe box, we have this synthetic perforated nubuck, and then surrounding the front toe cap, this part is something that kind of surprised me because in the product images, I expected this to be some sort of smooth leather or suede of some sort, but from the looks of it, it seems to be a genuine leather. As you can see the natural leather grains on the side, but there's this synthetic overlay which has this plastic-like textured finish to it, which was kind of surprising to me. This same material covers the eyelets of the sneaker, whereas the top two eyelets, this is covered in another reflective panel. Underneath this on the mid panel, we have this New Balance N logo. This is also reflective. And then along the bottom of the shoe, we have this pale green colored suede. Next to this, we have this pale green reflective layer, and behind it, we have more of that open style dark green mesh. On the bottom of the heel, we have another suede layer, and we have 990 branding pressed onto the lateral side only. In the middle, we have this synthetic layer with Made in USA branding. There's an internal heel cup here as well, which is not visible to the eye. And then on the very top of the heel, we have this dimpled-like mesh layer. In terms of laces, this pair comes with two different lace options, which I really had a tough time deciding which one I prefer more. So they come with a flat white colored lace along with a cream colored lace. I really couldn't choose which one I liked more. Let me know in the comment section down below which of the two do you guys prefer. I think I'm leaning slightly towards the cream pair, but it's really close. Underneath this, the bottom half of the tongue is covered in that green open style mesh. However, the top is covered in this tightly wound white colored mesh. On top of this, we have this overlay with New Balance 990 V6 branding, and you'll see how the inner collar of the shoe, this is covered in that same white colored mesh material, and like any 990 V6, it's pretty thinly padded here. For the insoles, these come with a decently padded foam lined insole. We have this light green layer on top, and we have New Balance running branding pressed onto the heel. So the upper of the shoe sits atop this chunky fuel cell foam midsole, which is one of the brand's top cushioning technologies. In addition to fuel cell, we also have New Balance's end cap technology, which is a dual density foam setup, giving you softness and cushioning in the middle, but it provides a lot of support and structure around the outer edges. And then for the bottom of the shoe, this is your typical 990 V6 outsole. You'll see we have this wavy style traction pattern, along with these slits or grooves on the forefoot to give you some added flexibility. And then in the middle, you can see that exposed fuel cell foam. This is visible in the middle of the heel. So that breaks down the look and the construction of this pair. And for those wondering about how these fit, to me these fit like any other 990 V6. So I personally go half size down from my true size. My foot measures as a true size 10, slightly on the wider side, meaning when I go to a shoe store, step on a Brannick device, I'm actually a size 10 between a D and an E width. So I get these in a size 9.5 because the model is a shoe that runs a little bit long lengthwise. So by going to the 9.5, it leaves me about an index finger's width space between the top of my toe and the top of the shoe. The width, especially around the ball of your foot, sometimes it can feel a little bit snug, but in my experience, once I wear them in and break them in, the width isn't really an issue for me at all. So it depends on your feet. If you have a narrow, normal, or even a slightly wide foot, I'd recommend going a half size down from your true size. But if you have like a really wide foot, either I just stay away from this model, or if possible, go to a shoe store that stocks these, try them on, just to guarantee that they fit your feet. To give you guys a point of comparison, I also go half size down in a lot of other made in USA models like the 992, 993, and most of the 990 series. Whereas I stick true to size or size 10 in a lot of the made in UK and Asia models like the 1906R, 860 V2, 991, and 1500. Next up, in terms of the comfort, so the 990 V6, it's a very dynamic feeling sneaker. And what I mean by that is that when you wear these, you can really feel the cushioning. It has a decent softness to it, and it almost feels like it's kind of propelling you forward, or it's kind of rocking you in some way. So for sure, this is not a shoe that I'd consider to be very stable, but there's a lot of cushioning underfoot with that full length fuel cell foam in addition to the end cap. I know a lot of people swear by this silhouette and they say that it's one of the tops when it comes to comfort. I can see that. I just personally prefer a shoe that has a little bit more stability and structure, but if you're looking for something that has that max cushioning feel, then I think the V6 will be a great option for you to try. Finally, in terms of the quality and craftsmanship, so first off, the material quality I thought was nothing that special. Like I mentioned earlier, I was kind of disappointed by these synthetic top layers on these panels on the toe box and the eyelets. This kind of cheapened the feel of the shoe for me, despite the fact that the suede quality on the shoe was really solid. The overall build of the shoe though I thought was okay. It was free of any major issues, so I thought the overall build was decent. It just wasn't perfect, but when it comes to New Balance these days, I feel like we're seeing more and more issues with the build and the craftsmanship, but that's a discussion for a different video. So with all of that out of the way now, let me toss these on feet, I'll lace them up, and I'll show you guys how these look. The first thing I thought of when I saw this colorway in hand is that it's a really refreshing colorway. The different tones of green work really well together, and it makes a very suitable spring and summer colorway. So I picked these up to review for you guys, so I paid the full price, but I really wouldn't be surprised if eventually these were discounted down the road later on this summer maybe. But I think aside from some minor issues with the build and the material they used on the toe box and the eyelets, which was a little bit disappointing, I still think it's a really solid shoe, all things considered. Let me know what you guys think about this Avocado New Balance 990 V6 and if this is a shoe you plan on picking up. As usual, if you guys enjoy this review, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. I'll link my social media accounts, all that stuff down below for you guys to check out. And as always, appreciate your continued love and support, and I'll catch everybody in my next video.